Markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax. 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. Out with the old and in with the new. It's time to save big at Room to Room's New Year's sale. Store-wide markdowns 50 to 70% off. No tax. 48-month special financing. It's a new year at Room to Room Furniture in Tupelo. There's no place like home.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather This Morning.
Well, happy Tuesday to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon here. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather This Morning. It is another crisp start. There's really no insulation in the form of cloud cover, and so it is cold. It's a little bit frosty. I don't think it's going to take long to get off of windshields this morning if you happen to have a little bit of it out there. But we have some mornings ahead where it's going to be a little bit more significant. Maybe that's the kindest way we can put that with you here. But again, thank you so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather on this fantastic day. You can, of course, join the conversation with us as we're talking about everything going on out there. The cold weather is the story, has been the story, and will be the story. No significant storms or anything like that over the course of this week, though there is one time period where cold plus moisture could add up to maybe some flakes, but not much more than that. We're not talking, there's no snowballs. And I never underestimate the ability in Mississippi to find a way to make a snowball. But there are flakes, just flakes in the forecast. We'll time it for you in a couple minutes. 33 though, this is not the morning. Yeah, I'm surprised someone hasn't shown me, and this is not a challenge, but you know, later this week if we get enough frost for it, maybe it is challenge. A frost ball. I've never seen one of those where they're like, they scrape the windshield and scrape that into something. I don't know. Never underestimate, y'all. We're looking at 33 degrees, as you can see, 8 a.m. We're 51 by 11 a.m., 59 degrees at 2 p.m. there as temperatures approach the 60-degree point for the high for today. Again, join the conversation here. You can do that on Facebook, YouTube, all good ways, again, to interact with us. But no precipitation out there on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We are clear, not just here, but across the entire region. As we kind of kick this over into our satellite perspective, kind of show you a little bit on that there. A few, high thin clouds down to the south. This is largely associated with this storm system you see there kind of spinning away back into Texas. Now, I mean, you can even very clearly see, again, the spin on this one there, all kind of wrapping around. So this is a pretty tight one that's generally speaking kind of lifting sort of this direction here. It will help to add up to some moisture with our next front that sits back up there onto the plains. Now that front, the one we're looking at up there, it is not particularly impressive, at least on this particular shot here, but there's some cold air behind. I think this is something, one way in which our satellite here does kind of isn't doing quite a good enough job of showing just how much cold air is kind of behind this here. National, we'll look at those colder temperatures. The thing is yeah, you can see it all the way up there into Canada. There's the really, really cold temperatures behind this. So a big burst of much, much colder air on the way. And that's the reason we kind of show this front, which signifies the leading edge. But this is going to swoop back in and in a big way have a big drop. So just for perspective, while it is not warm here this morning, comparatively speaking, clear that all off there. Our temperatures down here somewhere in the neighborhood of the, mid-20s. Behind that front, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of negative, don't want to think about it, to negative, youch. Yeah, hold on, that last one there, let's clear it off. There's your best perspective. So say Tupelo, or let's pick like Columbus, for example. 25 degrees the temperature. If I click right up there, negative 24. That's 50 degrees difference in the way I don't like thinking about it. Luckily, wind chills up here aren't that bad. In the 20s, as you can see, largely for those wind chill temperatures right now. Somewhere in the neighborhood about 23. We show Houston 22 there, west of West Point. Winona feels like about 23, about 24 up there in Ashland. Louisville about 20, and looking out there toward around Charleston, close to around 27, and Batesville about 28 for those wind chill temperatures. So obviously still a little bit of a factor this morning. Futurecast Kind of boring on the close shot here. There's not a whole lot going on for today across most of the state of Mississippi. We're going to start bringing in a little bit more cloud cover back there toward Texas. Ultimately, high pressure is a story on multiple levels. So that's sliding southward, and then that cloud cover and some of those showers back into Texas start moving there toward Louisiana. More into South Mississippi late today. And we start to see better chances with that front back of the north and west kind of bringing us a bigger burst of colder air for tomorrow. Initially here again, this is that lead wave that's just a little bit cooler, but the more significant cold air is sitting a bit behind that there. Back to the north and west. So most of the showers south of Jackson during the day today. As you can see, our hour-by-hour forecast in the northern part of the state, we're keeping rainfall out of that. 40 at 9 a.m., 55 by noon. We're 59 degrees at 3 p.m. Getting underwater, about mostly clear skies across most of the state. There will be quite a few 60s out there. Car and bank thermometers. I think officially that'll be the high temperature a lot of spots today. Will be 51 degrees by 6 p.m., 45 by 9. So milder tonight before the rain chances start to return tomorrow. And they are light. We're not adding these up to a lot in the way of accumulated precipitation. So looking at things kind of maybe a little bit out there this morning. Conversation, again, a lot of good mornings out there. Good morning to you, Marcellus. Good morning to you, Lana and FL Mayo. Where y'all tuning in from this morning? What do you want to talk about? I know this time of year everyone wants to start talking about snow. And we will say that word. We just said it twice. But anyway, we will look toward what that means in the extended forecast. What excuses can we make? When it comes, that's what we're going to do. When it comes to snowfall, we're going to refer to it as an excuse cast. Because there's always an excuse, whether from me, whether from Mother Nature, whether from y'all. We'll do an excuse cast. That's coming up here in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues. Thank you so much for supporting us, liking, and subscribing. We'll be back here in the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hi, my name is Rosie. Regional Rehab Center helps kids like me by offering speech therapy, occupational therapy, and dyslexia therapy. Your support helps so many of us get what we need to grow and succeed. Please help the Rehab Center.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovhawn.
A golden sky there in Pontotoc this morning. We are about 4 minutes or so past sunrise this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here on Mississippi Live Weather here in the Room to Room Weather Center. It is a beautiful, cool morning. You need to bundle up those kids. Temperatures, you can see 28 in Pontotoc. That is fairly well reflective of a lot of locations. Winona at this time coming in again with the same clear skies and temperature about 27 degrees, so just a little bit cooler than there. We show just a few very, very thin clouds toward the horizon, looking mostly good there. I want to go up to Amory. Amory's interesting to me because yesterday we saw fire starting on this camera there. I still see the smoke. I don't know whether it had to be like some kind of controlled burn or something there. Still some smoke going on with that. It's that time of year where, people getting land prepped and ready for later on this year. Coming in clear there in Amory. And if I step out of the way for a second, that's some pink on the radar showing up there in the corner. Clear air returns. As you can see, no precipitation, but close to that radar site there near the Gatman area, you get it to kind of refract into the ground. The radar says, well, I see precipitation. It's cold enough. That should be a mix. Obviously not. But just as, I guess, one of those many, many different teasers to something else But ultimately, no real issues out there this morning there. If we go out to Batesville, we'll kind of wrap up our tour of sky cams here across North Mississippi. Looking again with mostly clear skies again toward the horizon. Let's throw Tupelo on top of that. I think we talked to Tupelo this morning. So good evening to folks in Batesville at 28, and same 28-degree temperature in Tupelo. Our Mitchell Cunningham bowling camera there on the south side of town, looking down towards Sunshine Mills there on the right-hand part of your screen, looking dry and clear. Who said the S word? Okay, let's look at snow. So let's get the disappointment out of the way right out of the gate. I will show you here in a minute when we look at the actual Futurecast, a little bit of snow showing up on it. But here's how little bit qualifies. So let's be crystal clear here. Again, looking over the course of the next couple of days. I love how it tries to, if you see the color shade, the color shading, might basically change there. That's, that is overdoing it to say a lot. But as you can see here, as far as accumulating snowfall is concerned between now and Friday, that's that. My favorite part is social media always busts loose when there's any kind of sort of model run that maybe sort of says that it's possibly kind of going to happen. I know you have Jailbird Bob, you have, some of the other people out there that are always posting the crazy snow stuff. If we're not talking about it, it's probably not going to happen. It's easy to stand on this side of the fence and say that. But the reality is you can always find, if you want to wish for snow, there is always a projection out there that has it on it. I do love how this goes. Maybe something with some flakes this weekend. We had someone asking at 6 o'clock there about, some moisture this weekend. It's going to be cold enough. Can we squeeze some moisture out of the pattern? That remains the question. So you're telling me there's a chance? No, not really. But, the GFS model is trying to say that there's a chance. Let's talk about that. So we will talk about that at the end of this discussion here. But we got to get through all the stuff that, if you've got kids, get out the door. Like I hear my wife trying to hack it through with the kids in the other room over there, getting them ready to go. We got to get you a temperature out the door. We got to get some of that stuff. We will come back and look at the white stuff here in just a minute. As Frankie says, we want snow. I get that. Not today. No snow days. No, maybe that's the clear-cut threshold. There are no snow days coming forward. Flakes on a couple occasions maybe, but actual snow days, no. 30, at least not in the really reasonable foreseeable future. 30 pickup temperature. We're 59 degrees there as we look toward picking up the kids from school. IMPC, our school day forecast sponsor there. It is obviously a layer day where by the time they get in, obviously warm enough there, but they'll need those outer layers. Visibility back in good shape for most spots out there at this time, though down there in Tunica. Wind chill temperature is coming in 28 in Senatobia, 27 degrees in Houston, with 26 Vernon, 25 degrees in Columbus, and about 31 in Grenada. Wind chill temperatures, for the most part, those coming in the neighborhood of around the upper 20s to maybe very low 30s, pretty similar to what the actual temperature is at this point and time. So now looking ahead here at Futurecast, the remainder of today, again, southerly winds keeping us clear, keeping us dry, no precipitation out there, at least on this part of the state. Cloud cover will start to increase a little bit more. You'll see that here into the afternoon. This is high, thin cloud cover made of ice crystals aloft. No precipitation coming from this here. Again, sort of filtering into the area here by late today. Again, a sign that things are changing as we're bringing in a little bit more lower level moisture to power some of those rain chances for tomorrow. So high temperatures about 60 in Tupelo and Amory today. We're 61 degrees Greenwood, 60 in Belzona, 59 in Cleveland, and again somewhere around 60 degrees in Kosciuszko, 57 Iuka, and 59 degrees in Corinth. So here are those clouds, and here comes the front from the north and west. It really it comes in as kind of two bursts here. You have sort of this trough leading a hedge. More than anything, it's kind of say that's the leading edge of some of the rainfall there. But you will see in the wider shot when we get to show it in a minute that it'll almost look like this front jumps as it sort of joins up. See how it's swiftly catching up with this trough ahead? So we'll have some showers and then we'll have the big cold air behind this. And it's behind that where maybe we squeeze out a little bit of flake activity. Notice I'll say anything but really snowfall on that. Flake activity, it's little flecks of moisture. It's, the chances are just not good. But here are those showers. Chances are very good for that on Wednesday. fairly widespread to begin the day. We'll be about 40, as you can see here in Water Valley, for a low temperature for tomorrow. Note these temperatures. You could almost take a screenshot of this. Low 40s, upper 30s, your beginning temperature on Wednesday. That's back up above our normal. It's a sign of the moisture coming in, the cloud cover insulating us, all those things making us milder than we've been the last couple days, and a lot milder than we'll be going forward. This is actually high temperature territory, believe it or not, by Thursday. Wind chills tomorrow, slicing off a degree or two. Not a big difference there between those two temperatures. So here is Futurecast, and again, here is that cold front sweeping into the area with much colder temperatures behind that. So still watching again that shower batch here. Again, moderate rainfall at most. Most of this, honestly, is pretty light as it swings into and through the area on your Wednesday. Again, under what are mostly cloudy skies. We do show maybe some moderate rainfall, Water Valley there, about 10 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, but not a lot of that. And again, starts to clear out fairly quickly because the air is dry. And if there's a component, a key to why this is not a lot of snowfall in the forecast, really any, it's the dry air. It's not the cold air. We've got tons of that. It's dry air. And so as the drier air kind of filters in on the backside, it kind of eats into the backside of where that precipitation is, with only, again, some spotty showers out there. Some moderate rainfall back out toward Arkansas, but gradually, as you can see, clearing out 3, 4 o'clock for the majority of our area, 5 to 6 p.m., and this is the one that'll kind of get your idea back up there toward Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, Savannah, Tennessee, out toward Clifton and Parsons and Columbia, south of Nashville. Yeah, that's snow. By the way, don't get attached to any of these locations. This is Rogue Flakes. How do I point that out? Well, first off, when we're looking for real snow, we look for giant bands. I'm showing little bands here that are maybe 5 to 10 miles wide. That's not going to cut it. By any stretch of the imagination. So high temperatures, this is the other factor. Upper 40s, low 50s. If we can get some flakes to fall, they're falling into not just drier air near the surface, but warmer air. And that combination just makes them very underwhelming for sure. We're 55 Kosciuszko, 54 Louisville, 55 again for Macon for those high temperatures Wednesday. So a bit cooler than today. That front has wind chills, arguably even in the afternoon associated with it as it slides through. And then as you can see, mostly clear skies into your Wednesday evening. Now hold on a second here. You see how we instantly watch whatever was there. It's like, never mind. That's the dry air, right? You have to, by that point, be talking outside of maybe a couple of rogue flakes, looking all the way up here, back to practically Knoxville, 180 or so miles away, before we kind of have anything that direction there. So again, as that kind of front sweeps through, taking the more meaningful moisture with it, dry air remains the story back behind this, and that drier air largely settles in and keeps us clear into early Thursday morning. But those dots represent the wind, and it is chilly because of that, those wind chills. That's what you're sticking around to try to see. No, you're not. You're sticking around to talk more snowfall. But anyway, wind chills. Going to really be really cold thing for early Thursday. So 23 Water Valley, Bruce, and Houston. We're 24 degrees in New Albany, 23 for Holly Springs for those beginning temperatures early morning on your Thursday, and wind chills down into the teens for almost all locations. I mean, come on. When we're saying, hey, you're warmer at 23 for a wind chill temperature in Greenville there, or 21 in Belzona, that's when you know it's going to be cold. No two ways about that. High temperatures, going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around 40 degrees or so, give or take a degree on your Thursday. 39, we'll say, in Tupelo. And again, we probably never officially feel that warm for early Thursday morning. Friday morning starting in the mid-20s once again, and wind chill temperatures to start early Friday morning, probably going to be just as cold, somewhere in the neighborhood of, again, the teens. A little more mild than they were on Thursday, but not by a lot. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. Again, we're 60 degrees for that high temperature today. And comparatively speaking, look at the rest of the forecast here. That is warm. 52 by Wednesday. Probably never feels officially that warm, especially not in the afternoon. Showers around. That cold front comes in. A lot of cold air behind that front. That's how we're only in the 30s for highs by Thursday. again, those mid-teens out there for low temperatures because of the wind chill. But as the winds calm down, actual temperatures down 23 or so for Friday, 29 by Saturday. Our friends over at Absolute Cleaning and Restoration, they are giving away some of these. We talked about it yesterday. We put it in the chat. As we go through this cold pattern, this is one of those little spigot covers you could put on your spigot outside, and it'll help to kind of insulate it. You can wrap it up with a towel. You can get something from a hardware store, but they're giving those away on their Facebook page, so you can check them out again for the latest on that, because it's definitely needed. A lot of 20s and cold temperatures going forward, even some teens, as you can see, by the first part of next week. So some of the coldest air we've had so far this season, one of the longer stretches than that ahead, after, of course, the milder temperatures that we had last week with us. Okay, join the conversation here on Facebook as well as YouTube. Looks like that is a spam message there. At the same time, we obviously represent a Christian organization to a certain extent here, and recognize the power Jesus has with that. But trying to keep the conversation primarily for folks around here that have questions and things they'd like to talk about. Good day to you and Cynthia there, and Nicola. Good morning to you as well. Watching in Corinth, nice to see you there. Arnita and Andy. Andy saying, so Wednesday is a washout. That's probably overstating a little bit. I think we'll have some widespread showers there on Wednesday, but what I'm not thinking is that it's going to necessarily be a washout, because I think they're mainly lighter variety showers that kind of pass through the area. We want snow, Frankie. I get that, and the chances just are not, obviously not particularly good related to that. I'm running out of time to get ready for the next broadcast here. Our next broadcast is coming up here at 7:30 a.m., and I got to get some stuff done because I didn't get everything done between the 6:30 and the 7 o'clock broadcast. So there's a few things like making sure it's posted to the app so that people just want to hop in. And by the way, that's one thing I want to mention. Again, our live broadcast here, this is where we talk a lot about things, right? In our short broadcasts, and the easiest way to check those out is by going into our app, and as we kind of clear this off here for a second, there are some QR codes here that you can download the app. In the app, we do have our short broadcasts. If you need the weather in, say, a minute and a half, we've got that on here for you as well. These are where we expound on things. But coming up, I'm going to have it pretty much right. We'll get you your out-the-door forecast, and then first thing after the break, in the next up here about 7:10. That'd be about 7:40, maybe 7:38, 7:40, something like that. We're going to dig into the snowfall stuff before we do the rest of it, so we can get you that, because I know that a lot of folks have to get out the door here pretty quickly. So like and subscribe, follow us in the apps. We'll see you coming up here in a couple moments. But for those of you that like me but love Maggie, Maggie's gonna be back tomorrow. Maybe just as importantly, Maya will be back tomorrow. She's here most days, 6:37, 7:30 a.m. I'm filling in. I'm typically here for those 5, 6, and 10 p.m. broadcasts. But Maggie, every weekday, does a spectacular job. Tons of energy. Just great human being. So glad to be partnering with her on Mississippi Live Weather. She's back tomorrow. Her eyes maybe a little more bright and shiny than my tired ones are. We will see you here coming up during our 7:30 broadcast. We'll talk snow pretty close to the beginning of that one. We'll see you then.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.